Welcome to Real Estate Radio Live, an informative and engaging hour discussing everything you need to know about the world of real estate. Your host, Joe Kuchera, provides you with insight and guidance on how to buy, sell, finance, and invest in real estate. He also offers real estate tax management strategies, new construction advice, home improvement tips, and much, much more. And now, to guide you around the world of real estate, here's your host and Real Estate Radio Live team leader, Joe Kuchera.
Welcome in. Good afternoon. Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. Thank you so much for spending some time with us this afternoon. Just a reminder before we get started, a couple different ways you could listen and follow the show. One is on the radio at KDOW 1220 AM on the good old-fashioned radio dial. Another way you could listen to us if you have an internet connection and you're anywhere in the world at this time of the day, 3 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time, you could log on, go onto the internet, and look for kdow.biz. That is the radio website. When you get to that website, you click on the button that says Listen Live, and you can listen to us during the course of the show. That's one way. The other way is we're feeding live on Facebook. So for those following us on Facebook, thank you very much. Continue to ask questions. Come along with us. I appreciate the people that follow us during the show on Facebook. Thank you so much. We'll continue to do that. Lastly, be sure to download the podcast. Now, the podcast is really one of the best resources you have, is because you could listen to the show anytime, anywhere, at your convenience. And you can go to iTunes, just type in Real Estate Radio Live, download the podcast. You could always go to our website, reradiolive.com, and get the podcast there as well. All right. The last thing I want to remind everybody, during the live show, we love questions, comments. If you want to give us a call, 1-800-516-1220. If you have any questions for me or my guest, you could call 1-800-516-1220. Or you could text the questions in at 408-838-9060. All right, let me invite my guest in today, Mr. Bill Benson. He is a reverse mortgage specialist, and he's been on our show before. He is the guy we call on when we need an update and an area of expertise when it comes to reverse mortgages. For those out there, before we kick off the show here, you know that the show is focused on education and information. Well, what I do know is there are, I don't know the number, but I do know there's thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands, of people in the Bay Area that have a lot of equity in their home. And they may be older. There may be senior citizens. They may be in a position where they're struggling because they don't know if they have any other opportunities. Maybe they can't qualify for traditional financing. We're going to go through a lot of these things with Bill. So the reason I want to set the stage like that is that if you're listening to the show and you have a parent, a grandparent, family member, aunt, uncle, anything, give us a call. Bill's here. He's the expert. We could answer your questions. All right. Mr. Benson, good to have you in.
Good to be here, Joe.
Always good to have you. Before we get started and have our little dialogue and conversation about reverse mortgage, if you could just give the listeners a little idea of your background and what you're up to today.
Well, Joe, I've spent about 35 years in the mortgage business, the forward mortgage business.
You poor guy.
Conventional guy, yeah. Well, it was very good to me. And but the last 12 years or so, I've been specializing in reverse mortgages. I've helped a lot of seniors. Makes me feel good. Mm-hmm. And I, spend a little of the money on extra traveling or something.
There you go. All right. So reverse mortgage. I think probably the best thing, the way I'd like to start, Bill, is as always, I just like to take us down to the basics. So let's just pretend that the entire audience doesn't know a word or thing about reverse mortgage. Maybe let's start and just give us the basic, the premise. Give us a description, I guess, if you will, of the reverse mortgage in simple terms.
Well, we ought to go back to the start.
Okay.
And they were reverse mortgages were founded by Federal Housing Administration, FHA, under the Department of Housing and Urban Development. And they've been developed over a long period of time and refined. Mm-hmm. But the original intent, and it's probably still the primary use for them, is to enable seniors 62 and older to stay in their homes for retirement, live their lives a little more comfortably.
Yeah.
And they can be used for a lot of different reasons. Like pay off an existing mortgage, pay off medical bills.
Mm-hmm.
Seniors seem to have more than others.
Right.
Supplement retirement income.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on to other retirement savings and draw cash from their homes, tax-free cash from their homes,
Mm-hmm.
While markets, financial markets fluctuate up and down,
Yeah.
in a declining market, they might save their long-term savings.
Yeah. Give us some, there are, oh my God, there's probably, I don't know, at least a dozen, but give the listeners a kind of an example. Let's go through a few examples of where a person might benefit from a reverse mortgage. We both know a lot of these, but maybe we could just talk a little bit about that way. If someone's out there listening going, how do I qualify, or how do I know if I'm eligible for one, or maybe who even knows if I should get one? Does that make sense?
Oh, well, okay.
What kind of examples would a person be looking for a reverse mortgage potentially?
Someone who is, they've been in their home a long time.
Okay.
They build up a lot of equity. You have to have a lot of equity in your home. Your home has to be owner occupied
Mm-hmm.
and has to be your primary residence.
Okay.
You have to be 62 or older. But in a lot of cases, at retirement, incomes go down.
Yeah.
And trying to maintain that lifestyle can be a difficult thing.
Yeah.
People can get, I mentioned a couple of things, can get into trouble because of medical problems,
Mm-hmm.
or might have problems in other ways where they get behind.
Right.
And a reverse mortgage could solve those problems.
Yeah.
Or just aging in place. And now it's time to maybe do some home improvements.
Yep.
To make it easier to stay in a 2-story home or where you really want to stay. Yeah.
I mean, one of the ones that come up a lot, it seems like, Bill, are the conversations that are kind of go like this. Someone will, maybe be living on Social Security only, right? They didn't have the benefit. They don't have the benefit of having a pension. And maybe very little retirement, as you mentioned, and they're 63, 64, or maybe they do have some retirement, but they have to be careful the way they spend that money, right?
Yes,
that's one of the. I mean, everybody's living longer, which is wonderful, and we have to plan for those kinds of things. So, there's so many people, and again, I don't know the numbers. There's a lot that are, I think the phrase that's used is house rich and cash poor, where you have all this equity, and here these people are kind of stressed out. I can't really qualify for a traditional loan, and I would like to do that remodel you're talking about, or maybe I need to retrofit my house, or maybe I need to take care of some bills, as you'd mentioned, or maybe, heck, you want to travel the world for a couple of years, right? All those things.
Joe, I should have you follow me around.
Yeah, okay. I did a pretty good job, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. You just just took a lot away, all my Zoom away from me.
I'm sorry.
Okay, but I think people ought to, while we're talking about it, there are different ways you can take the money.
Okay.
And it's kind of like, your house. You've paid a lot of money in your house over the years. Now the house is going to start paying you back.
Mm-hmm.
You can take it as in a lump sum cash, lump sum cash payment. Take it as a line of credit or monthly income, or a combination of two or all of these.
Oh, so you have the flexibility of doing it. Okay.
Yeah. So and typically the most of the reverse mortgages that I've done, the seniors have wanted a line of credit.
Mm-hmm.
But in part of to cover the costs of getting the mortgage, there are closing costs involved. There's a lump sum payment that goes out at the close to pay for those costs, so that doesn't come out of the seniors' pockets. And maybe they need a little cash flow too, but they don't need instead of a couple $1,000s a month, maybe all they need is $500. So they take $500 a month and leave the remaining available to them in a line of credit.
Okay.
For an emergency.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Well, I have a little less than 2 minutes before our first break. What would be, before we take our break, I'll have you just finish this and then we'll take a break. So I remember years ago, Bill, and you do too, and a lot of people still to this day, a lot of things that I hear when someone says reverse mortgage still is, are those really good, or are they like scam, or in other words, I still hear people skeptical about them. So maybe before we take a break, just quickly kind of explain why that has changed over the years in that perception.
Well, initially when they first started, there was an equity share part of it in the home. That's no longer the case.
I see.
The homeowner retains title to the home. As far as the basics of the mortgage, it's just like any other mortgage, except there's no obligation to a payment. There is interest rate, that interest accrues. But and over the years, seniors get scammed, and this was a new way for scammers, to do so with reverse mortgage.
All right. Well, let me hold you there. We're going to take a quick break. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Bill and I are going to come back. We're going to continue talking about reverse mortgages. If you're out there again, and if you have any questions, there's a lot of people that should look into this, really. 1-800-516-1220. If you have any questions, give us a call. We'll be back with you to continue in just a couple minutes.
For more information on today's program, visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com.
The world is changing, and so is real estate. It's changing in ways that give consumers more control with more affordable options. So what are your options? Hi, this is Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. I've been on the air educating and informing consumers for over 7 years now. I'm excited to announce that there is now a more efficient and cost-effective way to buy and sell real estate. Our team at Real Estate Radio Live is launching a new program designed to help buyers or sellers like you in real estate, lending and title. That's right. We'll coordinate the entire transaction for you. So you benefit by working with the same team, saving time and saving money. We'll guarantee you'll not only be working with the most qualified, hand-picked experts in real estate, lending, and title, but you will also save a significant amount of money in all three services as well. Act now and benefit from changing the world of real estate. Call 408-838-9060. Go to RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com.
Welcome back to Real Estate Radio Live, streaming live on iHeart, TuneIn, and KDOW.biz. For more information on today's topic or guest, just visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com. Again, your host for Real Estate Radio Live, Joe Kuchera.
Welcome back in. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. Today the topic is reverse mortgages, and an important topic, especially, again, when we live in an area. It doesn't matter really where you live, but we happen to live in an area where we're fortunate in a lot of ways that we've had this incredible acceleration of appreciation and equity growth in most properties. So some people, for example, and everybody knows this story, you could have bought your house 15, 20, 30 years ago for $100,000, $200,000. It could be worth a couple of $1 million now, depending on where it was and where it is. And so the question would be, for those that might be eligible for a reverse mortgage, that's what we're talking about today. So if there's anyone out there listening to the show, if you have any questions, I encourage you to call in or text, because this is really important. I think it's sad that a lot of people aren't educated, or maybe this information doesn't get to them, or maybe they don't trust someone that's going to share it with them. And this is where Bill comes in. He's in this business for 35 years. He's been doing reverse mortgages for 12. You have to have someone you could trust and walk you through it, someone that understands it and lives it, and Bill does that. And the reason why it's so important from my observation is that there are so many people out there that I think because they're not educated on this product, and they're maybe afraid to look into it, or a little cautious or paranoid. You hear me say all the time, just step out, educate yourself, find someone you could trust, someone like Bill in this case. Sit down, spend some time with him, figure out if it's eligible, if it makes sense. He'll walk you through it. And the reason I want to talk about that more, and I'll have Bill share, is that Bill, the sad thing for me is to see people, older, up there in the years, and, I witness this on a regular basis. They worked hard their entire life, and maybe for whatever reason, they have a limited budget, or in terms of money coming in, income now is reduced, or there's a health issue, or something, maybe they lost a spouse, or it's all kinds of things that happen in life. I guess my point is, you'd hate to see someone not use this benefit if it could really help improve their life, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Well, you're absolutely right, Joe, and we touched on it. There have been scams in the past. Seniors particularly get scammed. Mm-hmm. You really have to be careful.
Right.
But there have been a lot of protection from the federal government built into reverse mortgages.
Yeah.
To the extent that before you can have one, before I can take an application from you, you have to be counseled by a third party. Mm-hmm. They're trained counselors, they're nonprofit organizations, to be sure that you really understand what you're getting into.
That it's right for them.
Yeah. They're not there to recommend anything, but just to be sure that you really understand what you're getting into, and to look for possibility that you're being scammed or being pressured.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about how one qualifies for a reverse mortgage. How does that work? Because I know, and most of us know, in the forward mortgage, as we call it, Bill, it's you have income, assets, credit scores, all that, and there's the formula, your debt to income ratio. Walk us through how they look at whether someone qualifies for a reverse mortgage.
Credit is not a problem. Mm-hmm. It can be, but it's not a major problem. If somebody's gone through a hard period of time, medical bills and whatnot, they may have damaged their credit. Mm-hmm. And income is not a major problem.
Okay.
We do have to document those. We have to document income and assets, financial assets, to be sure that after you have a reverse mortgage, there's no obligation to a payment, but you do have to keep your taxes and homeowners insurance in place.
Okay.
And if what they find that's not available, I mean that you just don't have those kind of assets, there's what we call a life expectancy set aside held from the money that you would have had available to you. Okay. That's there to handle your taxes and insurance.
Okay.
And the amount that's held back is based upon, the insurance tables, your life expectancy. The other thing you should understand is how much that is available to you.
Yeah.
And that's how much is available to you is based upon the interest rates. The lower the interest rates, the more that you can receive. Mm-hmm. Your age, the older you are, the more you can receive, and of course the value of your home. Now, in the San Francisco Bay Area, where we live in such an expensive area, that is a little bit of a difficulty because with the FHA. The government-sponsored or insured reverse mortgage, they limit the maximum value at $636,150. Now that's going up at the first of the year to hang on. Just got this email today, folks, for 2018. That figure is going up to $679,650.
Okay.
So if you've got a $2 million house, they're still only going to value your home at that $679,650. But let's take, to give you an idea of the amount that can be received, I just said interest rates right now are historically low, so that's in your favor. The older you are, the more you get. And now you've got a $2 million house that's valued at $679,000, $650,000. Yeah. Sorry about that, folks. But in that case, that someone, say, 70, 72 years old would probably have available to them, say, in a line of credit of about $350,000. Okay. Which is not a lot of money, but for someone now living on retirement income anyway, it's going to be a major help. Okay.
So if you had a home worth $1 million roughly, and you owned it free and clear, what do you think? We got about 2 minutes before our next break. What would something like that someone be able to get from a home like that? Depending on are there other factors involved, not just that? Well, their age and all that.
That's pretty much it. Okay. But to give you an idea from a cash flow standpoint, if you wanted to take it all in monthly income, it'd probably be around $2,000 a month. Okay. To give an exact figure, should have brought my computer with me.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah. So it's. Is there and this last question we could hold until now, is there a formula in terms of the loan to value? In other words, is there something that someone could look at and go, you might say, hey, listen, we can't even look at this unless, there's at least 60, 70% equity, 50% equity. Is there a number there, or is it really hard to tell?
You really can't. Okay. Because of the situation we have here in the Bay Area, particularly. Yeah. Okay. But if for other parts of the country, figure loan to value would probably be in the neighborhood of for that 72-year-old, probably about 60%. Okay, that's good. Good to know.
All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take another break, and we're going to come back and continue talking about reverse mortgage. If you're out there, if you're on Facebook following us, or, again, listening online, on the radio, doesn't matter, or later on if you're listening to this via podcast, give us a call. Right now, you can call us live, 1-800-516-1220. That's 1-800-516-1220. If you're out there and you have a parent, grandparent, aunt, uncle, someone that you know that you're concerned about, or you think maybe, gee, I wonder if they could qualify, give us a call, 1-800-516-1220. This is Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. We'll be back with you to continue in just a couple minutes.
For more information on today's program, visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com.
Sadly, tragedies are part of our life. When faced with these tragedies, it's important that we rally together as a community to help those in need. Hi, this is Joe Kuchera, host of Real Estate Radio Live. As a way for our team here at Real Estate Radio Live to give back to our friends and neighbors affected by the tragic North Bay fires, we'll donate a percentage of every loan or every real estate transaction closed between October and December 2017 directly to the fire victims. Considering the average loan amount and real estate transaction amount, we are hoping to donate about $2,500 per transaction. So if you or anyone else you know is in the market to buy or sell, finance a purchase, or simply need a refinance, remember, we'll donate a percentage of our team's commission for each and every transaction. 100% of all the donations will go directly to the fire victims. For more information, please contact us at 408-838-9060 or go to RERadiolive.com.
Real estate broker Cal DRE 413-1002, NMLS 3233.
Hi, this is Joe Kuchera of Real Estate Radio Live. Thanks for tuning into our podcast. We are your go-to resource for all aspects of real estate, including buying, selling, refinancing, building, and legal and tax advice, and much more. You can subscribe to Real Estate Radio Live podcast on iTunes and Stitcher to listen to an engaging discussion about anything and everything real estate. So make sure you get our app, RE Radio Live, in the iTunes store to follow the show. Hi, this is Joe Kuchera, host of Real Estate Radio Live and Bay Area Mortgage Planner. In addition to being your home financing expert, please remember you could always contact me for other trusted advisors such as realtors, financial planners, and CPAs. Please feel free to contact me at 408-838-9060. That's 408-838-9060, or email joe@reradiolive.com, or visit my website at reradiolive.com for more details.
Welcome back to Real Estate Radio Live, streaming live on iHeart, TuneIn, and KDOW.biz. For more information on today's topic or guest, just visit reradiolive.com. That's reradiolive.com. Again, your host for Real Estate Radio Live, Joe Kuchera.
Welcome back in. Thank you for joining us today. Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. Today our topic is reverse mortgages. We have Bill Benson in the studio here, getting us updated, getting us the expertise on reverse mortgages. Again, if you have any questions, now is a great time to call, 1-800-516-1220. Just a reminder, if you have a parent, grandparent, anyone you think, well, gee, they seem to be struggling. I know they've owned their home for years. I mean, none of us really know people's personal situation. But if you have an observation or you have a family member or someone you care about, now's the time to check in and call. By the way, Bill, before we jump back in, for those listening now or on the podcast, let's say someone does have some questions for you. What is the best way to reach you if you want to give us your contact information?
Well, I work from a home office.
Okay.
And I just use my regular home number. My wife's great. She always says Bill Benson's office when she answers the phone.
I like it.
Okay. And that number is area code 408-378-6603.
Very good. And you want to, I said this earlier, but I'll say it again real quick before we jump back in. You want to work with someone you trust. If you've been listening to this show and following us the show, first of all, for almost 8 years, it's hard to believe. First of all, say thank you, because a lot of you have, and I get a lot of comments and feedback. So first, thank you for following the show and telling me how you enjoy it and get benefits from it and learn from it. And the reason I bring that up is because the people that I have on my show are vetted, and I don't bring them on my show, especially on a regular basis. If you see someone that's rotating ongoing every once in a while, it means that I trust them, I know them, and I know they'll take good care of you, and that's Bill Benson in the terms of reverse mortgages. If I had him on once and I threw him out of the place, that'd be a different story. Then you could say, okay, I'm going to avoid that guy.
Thanks for having me back, Joe.
Yeah. So tell us, Bill, a little bit about jumbo on the reverse side, and then maybe some more examples of how people could use the money.
Sure, Joe. Yeah. Yes, there are some. All the information I've given you so far has been pointed at the government insured product.
Okay.
But there is a proprietary product that will go up to home values of $4 million and with special circumstances higher than that. And they've been around for a while. They went away when the financial crisis came back in 2008, 2009. Mm-hmm. But they're back. They came back, a couple of them, about a year and a half ago. And just recently, there were some changes made by the federal government on the FHA products, and just a couple of months ago. And as a result, one particular reverse mortgage lender decided that they should concentrate more on making their jumbo reverse mortgage more available to more people. And they've done a good job of it. They brought the interest rates down they dropped the interest rate by about 2% to where now on a reverse the interest rates on a reverse mortgage has always been a little bit higher than conventional mortgages, but now they're probably about 1% above the conventional mortgage, maybe 1.5%, which makes it much more attractive. And before, they were really these get very complicated, but they didn't really make any sense until the home value was about $1.5 million. But now they've structured it so that it probably makes good sense for a property $850,000 to $900,000.
Okay.
And so It's something that we're going to be doing more work on. This has just taken place recently in the last couple of weeks. And so people who do have high balance homes should, and who may be forced at a point where they might be forced to move, and but would really would want badly to stay in the house. It's worth looking into.
Okay.
None of these reverse mortgages are a get-rich-quick scheme.
Right.
But they can be a valuable tool. They can be a very valuable tool. The other thing is that when I talked about uses for them, I was sticking pretty much to the standard ones that are need-driven. But when you have a reverse mortgage, you can use the funds that's available to you for anything you want, any way you want. Travel, maybe make some trips you've never been able to do before. Help children, help grandchildren with college education. Yeah. It just goes on and on and on.
And the benefit, of course, and I know you probably mentioned it, but we want to stress too, is of the reverse mortgage. The supreme benefit is there are no monthly payments. Right. So, for example, Bill, someone draws out $300,000, whether it's a lump sum or maybe an equity line, or I should say a line to use. There's no payments, and that's the beautiful part about number one. But talk a little bit about then how. Let's just call the number $300,000. Let's say someone takes a lump sum of $300,000 for this sake of this example. Then explain a little bit as simply as you can. There's no payments, however, that principal does continue to grow based on that a little bit, and explain how that works.
Well, it's what is referred to as a negative amortization loan.
Right.
The principal balance, if it started with a principal balance of $300,000, it could be up to over a period of 10 or 15 years. Might get up to $500,000.
Yeah. Right.
But at the same time, if you're dealing with a line of credit, interesting part of the line of credit program is that line of credit grows at the same interest rate that is on the loan.
Okay.
And I can tell you, I have one myself that I took out about...
So you're a living, breathing example here.
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. Nothing like that. That's good to hear.
Yeah. But fortunately, Joe, I've been using it at line of credit the way I should. Okay.
Okay.
And but my line of credit now that used to be about $400,000 when I took it out is now at $500,000.
Wow. Okay.
And that's in my hip pocket. I can use it in case of an emergency.
Right.
And that's what I use it for.
That's a great example.
Or to take a trip once in a while. But then I pay it back.
That's great. So, again, some of the, why don't you give us some of specifically, you said basically you'd use the money for anything. You gave some examples. And tax implications, you and I aren't CPAs. We're not tax experts, so we're not going to give anybody advice about that. But so would you always encourage people when they're doing anything like this to just double check with their CPA, financial planner? Who might you tell them to check with?
I think they should check with anybody that they really trust with financial questions or concerns. Financial planner, CPA, family. I always tell my seniors, talk to your family about it. Talk to the kids. Talking to family may not necessarily be a good thing sometimes. Well, depends on your family, Joe. Thing to do. But that's the responsible thing for you to ask, though. And when I set up, I always set up personal meetings, and what I do, I encourage them to have their kids come. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. So you would typically, I know, if someone's interested, Bill, this is definitely something. And I'm not going to put words in your mouth, that you want to go face-to-face with someone. I mean, in my business, for instance, I'll give you an example, and you know this too, my regular residential mortgage, forward mortgages, that I bet you 90% of the business I do, I ask people to come in all the time, but most people would rather just say, Joe, let's just take care of this over the phone, right? But that's different. It's a wholly different. So how does that look? How is that different with someone in reverse mortgage? Tell a little bit about how that process works. I I haven't done thousands of these things.
Hundreds.
Okay? Yeah,
maybe. Yeah.
Over 100.
Yeah.
Okay. And I can only think of 2 that I did not meet with personally.
Okay.
And that was because it was handled by their children. And the children were past clients of mine. And I always meet with them personally. I just always do.
Yeah.
And I prefer. I work from a home office, and I have no problem with inviting people in my home, but I prefer to go to your home, to the senior's home. And I say you, Joe, because you're getting almost to the age where you can have one.
Easy now.
Okay. And
I feel like it.
But it's because I want to see the home and meet with them in their home where they're more comfortable, quite frankly.
Well, let's face it, too, Bill. I mean, we talked about this early before we take another quick break here. This is an incredible amount of a trust program product, I would say. I mean, more than anything, let's face it, any kind of mortgage you do, it is a huge, huge transaction. It's very stressful, even in some of the simplest cases. But if you're an elderly person trying to make a big decision like this, and let's face it, it's unconventional thinking for a lot of people, even though it makes sense to a lot of us. Let's face it, when someone's hearing this for the first time, it makes them a little bit nervous. So it takes a person like Bill to go face-to-face with them, build that relationship, and really explain all the questions they have. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to take our last break, and we're going to come back. So we have one more segment. If you have any questions for Bill, 1-800-516-1220. That's 1-800-516-1220. This is Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. We'll be back to finish up our conversation on reverse mortgages in just a couple minutes.
For more information on today's program, visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com.
The world is changing, and so is real estate. It's changing in ways that give consumers more control with more affordable options. So what are your options? Hi, this is Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. I've been on the air educating and informing consumers for over 7 years now. I'm excited to announce that there is now a more efficient and cost-effective way to buy and sell real estate. Our team at Real Estate Radio Live is launching a new program designed to help buyers or sellers like you in real estate, lending, and title. That's right, we'll coordinate the entire transaction for you. So you benefit by working with the same team, saving time and saving money. We'll guarantee you'll not only be working with the most qualified, hand-picked experts in real estate, lending, and title, but you will also save a significant amount of money in all 3 services as well. Act now and benefit from changing the world of real estate. Call 408-838-9060. Go to RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com.
Welcome back to Real Estate Radio Live, streaming live on iHeart, TuneIn, and KDOW.biz. For more information on today's topic or guest, just visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com. Again, your host for Real Estate Radio Live, Joe Kuchera.
Welcome back in. Thank you again for joining us this afternoon as we wind down the show. Just the last segment, Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. The topic today is reverse mortgage, and it's great to see. I was just talking to Bill here when we were on our break. You know, we do a live Facebook feed here, which is great. I love the fact that technology allows us to connect with more and more people in different ways. This is the exciting part about technology for me. You can listen on the radio, you could listen online, you could listen on Facebook, you could interact, and then, of course, later on you could listen to the podcast. Well, while we're here streaming live, we've got at least 2 people that are interested in reverse mortgages that reached out to us. So I want to thank, first of all, the people on Facebook that continue to follow us, the people that, check in, have questions for us. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. And the way, the thing that we like to hear the most here at Real Estate Radio Live, just so everybody knows out there that follows the show, is we want to hear from you. Don't be afraid to check in with us. And the thing we want to make sure is that we're providing value. We want to make sure we're educating and informing you, and we think this is an important topic for sure today. So just a couple minutes left, Bill. What I'm going to do is, before we get back in and you kind of summarize things, can you again give those out there your contact number and maybe even an email, how people could reach you?
Happily, Joe.
Okay.
Yes, my telephone number, once again, is area code 408-378-6603. And my email address is bbenson@seniorfunding, all one word, seniorfunding.com. And Senior Funding is a group of mortgage brokers who do only reverse mortgages.
Yeah, specialize in it.
It's a group that I'm associated with.
Yeah. All right, so we have 3 or 4 minutes left on maybe just a summary of the plan, the program, before we duck out today. Maybe just give everybody another kind of a quick overview before we leave.
Quick.
Yeah. Okay. I'll keep you on task here.
Okay. First, you have to be 62 or older.
Okay.
You can you can use the money that's available to you in any way you want.
Right.
How much that you can receive is based upon interest rates, your age, and the value of the home. The value of the home is determined by a FHA appraisal. You know how old you are. The older you are, the more you get. The older you are, the more you get, and the lower the interest rates, the more you get. And of course, interest rates are at historically low levels right now. You can receive the money in 3 ways, or a combination of all 3: a lump sum payment, a monthly income, or a line of credit. And one thing that I failed to say during the program is that we're although I encourage people to talk to their financial advisors or anybody with a trust along those lines. Right. We have financial advisors have for a long time been very, very skeptical, and they should be. And you should be very, very cautious.
Right.
It's your largest asset in all likelihood that we're talking about now putting a mortgage on.
Right.
But we have a growing number of financial advisors who are encouraging their clients to look into reverse mortgages.
Yeah, I would agree. One of the things I want to say before we duck out, too, that I've seen on a fairly regular basis, I know Bill has too, but I want it to come from me only because, you know, I feel strongly about it, and that is what I don't like to see, what's sad to me, is you have someone that's the aging population, someone that's possibly not living the latter part of their life the way they might like to, even reasonably, because they're not educated or unfortunately they don't get this information. So they're in their home, they feel like they're stuck in some cases, and they can't live life as much as they want to or fulfill some of these things that you should be able to do. One of the saddest things to me is that, you know, someone works their entire life, raised children, you know, married, whatever it is, community member. I mean, all these things that people do, so, you know, they put their life and their soul into their jobs, their community, their homes. And one of the saddest things to me, Bill, and we got less than 2 minutes, is to see someone that might have the ability to get one of these and doesn't get the information, doesn't quite educate themselves. So, you know, they're missing out on some things they could potentially kind of fulfill the end of their life with.
You're absolutely right, Joe.
Don't want to be dramatic, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And look, I've been in sales all my life since I got out of the Navy 100 years ago, and you know, the last 35 years, I said I've been in the mortgage business. That's selling money,
right?
And I don't think reverse mortgages should be sold. I believe it's my job to educate people, to let them make their own decisions. Oh. I tell them what I think, but I have to hold myself back at times because I'm enthusiastic about them.
Yeah.
But this is an education process. You should take your time, look into it thoroughly, be happy to help you with that. But if I'm not the right person, you know, I'm not. If you're not comfortable with me, you shouldn't do business with me.
That's right, absolutely. All right, we're going to have to duck out. I want to thank everyone for listening. Thank you for those on Facebook for following. Thank you for those on the radio and also those listening online. And, Bill, thank you for being a great guest today. A lot of good information.
Thank you, Joe.
All right, for more information, you could always go to reradiolive.com. And if you want to check in with me during the week, 408-838-9060. This is Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. Thanks again for checking in with us today. Until tomorrow, have a great afternoon and take care of yourself.
You've been listening to Real Estate Radio Live. For more information on today's program, visit reradiolive.com. That's reradiolive.com. Tune in, log in, download our podcast. Discover more at reradiolive.com. reradiolive.com.